What's up, brothers and sisters? It's your brother G World 7_D. I have a book here. You see it right here. It's showing the Yamasi Indians. All right. It's called Chieftains, Collapse, Coalescence in the American South. All right. You see the front cover. Now this is by Cambridge University Press. Now look what it says right here for the front cover design. Let me get this in focus. Let me get my hand out. It says, let me get it focused. Get good focus. I'm just going to read it. It's going to say right here, it says, Early View of the Yamasi War, engraved by Peter Schick. Full title, translated from the Dutch, reads, The Gruesome Attack of the Indians on the English in Carolina, West Indies, on 19 April 1750, and some days after, in which action the barbarians tortured many men. See it clear right here. Notice how they entitled them Indians. Those are not Africans. Okay, now we're going to go page 206. I'm going to show you the one part of the picture that you missed. All right. One part of the picture that you missed. Here we go right here. Okay, and then missed that end part right here. See the brother with the fez and then another with the turban on his head. Hebrews, Muslims, Christians, they were all here in America, man. All that stuff was here in America. All that stuff was here in America. Our people then spoke many various different languages. They were all here in America, man. I'm going to read through this. Go to page 17. I'm going to read this right here. In 1711, a group of Tusk Aurora Indians and other allied peoples launched a surprise assault against new settlement planted on their territories in eastern North Carolina. One of the first casualties was none other than John Lawson, who had crossed the Tuscarora lands 10 years before. North Carolina had only recently become a separate colony and pleaded with its southern neighbor for aid. South Carolina, recognizing the war as an opportunity to obtain Indian slaves, answered by mounting 2 campaigns against the Tuscaroras and their native allies. Hundreds of Piedmont warriors, also seeing the war as an opportunity to take slaves and plunder, accompanied South Carolina forces. By 1713, the Tuscaroras were routed, with thousands either dead or captured. Although the Tuscaroras failed to uproot the colonies that threatened their livelihoods, the war that still bears their name did expose the vulnerability of British settlement to well-organized, determined foe. A fact not lost on other native peoples. Many survivors retreated to the north, where they joined the Iroquois and soon began to exact their vengeance on the Piedmont Indians. A little civil war, right? Just 2 years later, in the spring of 1715, the Yamasi Indians initiated what was to become the largest native uprising in the history of the American South. The Yamasi War spread quickly, with all southern Indians but the Chickasaw killing Carolina traders living in their towns and policies. The Yamasis, Creeks, and other groups in the shadow of Carolina's rice plantations fell upon the colony's southern and western frontiers, while Piedmont peoples made concerted assaults from the north. The causes of this conflict are multifaceted, and different Indian groups decided to participate or not at different levels of intensity. Although the heaviest fighting between British and Indian combatants ended less than a year after it started, with South Carolina ultimately gaining the upper hand, the Yamasi War did bring to a close the era of the Indian slave trade, a period of which tens of thousands of native Southerners, mostly women and young children, I repeat, a period in which tens of thousands of northern native Southerners, mostly women and young children, were ripped from their homes and families as mere commodities for colonial markets. In its place, Carolina and Virginia, followed by most other colonies in British America, began the expansion of the African slave trade that will consume them all in the years to come. Now, I'm going to skip on a little further and read something that I want you to pick up on. You got to look at a lot of words, a lot of names. Lots of times things have been changed to kind of disguise and throw you off. Let me find that one real quick. All right, because I want brothers and sisters to start being critical thinkers, man, with this. This information is right in front of your face. And I think this is it. Yeah, this is it right here. I'm read this right here. The Upper Yamasi had 6 towns, as noted by Pakatelago, was the principal town. The 5 other villages in orbit was Pokasabo, Tomatli, Huspa, Sadkichi, Tulafina. The latter 3 places were probably remnants of the powerful Gole chiefdom that had once controlled much of Georgia coast. I repeat, the latter 3 places were probably remnants of the powerful Gullah chiefdoms that once had controlled much of the Georgia coast, whereas the origins of the Pokasabo and the Tomatli are yet unclear. Before 1685, most of the Yamasi, upper and lower, were affiliated with Spanish La Florida. Gullah was drawn into the South St. Augustine mission system during the late 16th century, though it was always the most unruly of the mission provinces. Those late Mississippian chieftains of the Georgia Piedmont, whose descendants will constitute the lower Yamasi, were broken during the 1660s, shattered by Westu, slaving as were Carolina's Piedmont chieftains. Later, most of the survivors moved south to the Gullah province, following a series of French attacks in La Florida in 1683. Large number of the Yamasi began moving to the area around Port Royal Sound in modern-day Beaufort County, South Carolina, where they quickly forged a tight bond with Scottish colonists at Stewart Town. All right, Stewart Town. Though Stewart Town was destroyed by a Spanish assault in 1686, and the Yamasi forced to move their towns yet again, their relationship with Carolina held firm. But like most contemporary Indian Anglo alliances, the bond between the Yamasis and Carolina soon came to depend on the market for slaves and hide. Man, you know, we've been really lied to, man. This is our history all in academic books, man. This is a book from the Cambridge Press. I don't know if this book was printed over in Europe, but it's basically the Cambridge Press, maybe Massachusetts. But hold up, to be sure. Cambridge University Press. But our history is deep and is all over in these academic books. So I'm going to suggest you to get this book. Chiefdoms, Collapse, and a Coalescence in the American South. This is an excellent book, and it has your people's face in it. So many Pan-Africans and all these individuals say that we're stealing other people's history, that we're not the original Indians, man. This is in your face, man. This information is in your face. We've been here. So I think brothers and sisters need to wake up to that, man. We've been here. This is one of these academic books, man. It's not written by your so-called Afrocentric scholar, who many of them just believe we came from Africa. This is what you call an academic book, one of the grad level academic books. But let me also take it even further, man. Like I said, I'm gonna show you this picture right here. You can go on the website realhistorywww.com, and it shows you this picture, and it's in color. But I'm gonna show you. Look at the brother with the fez on his head and the brother with the turban. There were so many different types of black people here in America. I keep telling you, man. You had your so-called Hebraic blacks. You had your Islamic black or Muslim blacks. You had your so-called Christian blacks. They all was here in the Americas, man. There's some other stuff I like to read in this book, but there's a lot of long stuff. And but this is a lot of great information. It's another source, okay? It's another source, brothers and sisters. I love you. Continue to do that research. Continue to do that studying, man. Attack these lies that have been given to you, even by these Negro black scholars who keep saying you came from slaves. One of our downfall, in fact, our major downfall in America was that we were fighting amongst each other and we was capturing one another and then even enslaving one another. All right? And then we adopted a lot of these little mongoloid groups in our tribes. And then some of our people sold out for greed and wanted to obtain land and resources and control. They end up working with white folks or black Europeans. You can say black Europeans. So that was one of our downfalls here in America. That was also a downfall with the black nobility in Europe, man. We were having inner conflicts amongst each other. We even have intercoastal wars with one another. We're too busy fighting amongst each other, man. And that was our downfall. So, this is me, G World, man. Just give you some info. I got a lot more to give, but this is something to think about, man. All right, peace and love.